They told us sharks ruled the ocean. They were wrong. By the time people looked up, it was already too late. The story begins with, an eerie shadow appeared high in the sky. Finn took a closer look. A shark was actually flying in the clouds. He was instantly freaked out. How could there possibly be a shark at this altitude? Finn thought he was hallucinating. He rubbed his eyes, then looked out the window again. Suddenly, a shark landed right on the airplane wing. Finn realized how serious the situation was and quickly shouted for help. A flight attendant and a cop rushed over to check. When Finn said there was a shark outside, they almost took him for a crazy person. But soon, other passengers also noticed something strange. At that moment, hundreds of sharks had already surrounded the plane. Just as everyone was panicking, a shark slammed straight into the engine. The plane instantly lost balance. Then, countless sharks swarmed the cockpit, battering the aircraft non-stop. The plane's side was ripped open in seconds, and passengers without seatbelts were immediately sucked out by the powerful airflow. The flight attendant was still trying to comfort the passengers, but in the next second, a shark flew directly towards her. She was instantly done for. Meanwhile, the co-pilot had already been dragged out of the cockpit by a shark left dangling helplessly outside the plane. The captain quickly got up to rescue him, but suddenly the cabin pressure went wild and both were instantly blown away. By now, the plane had completely lost control. Finn stared at the wide-open cockpit door and fought through the strong wind stepping into the cockpit. He grabbed the radio and called for help. With some flying experience, Finn took control of the stick, using all his strength to stabilize the plane. Finn's ex-wife, April, was worried about his safety and followed him toward the cabin door was ripped off, but luckily April grabbed onto the handle and managed not to get sucked out. A shark was closing in on April. The cop threw his gun to her. As she tried to shoot the shark, her arm was bitten off and taken by the beast. Fortunately, she survived the attack. Back in the cockpit, Finn grasped the controls tightly, pushed downward with all his might, and finally stabilized the plane at the last second. In a blaze of sparks, the plane safely crash-landed on the runway. Thanks to Finn's bravery, all the remaining passengers were unharmed. Afterward, Finn and the injured April were rushed to the hospital. Having just survived a mid-air shark attack, Finn realized a much deadlier Sharknado was heading straight for New York. He immediately called his sister Ellen, warning her and her family to evacuate the city and head for higher ground. Later, as he spoke to reporters, he warned everyone that a disaster was coming, but clearly no one believed a word he said. Finn's sister Ellen and her daughter Maura were on a boat admiring the Statue of Liberty. Suddenly, a shark leapt out of the water and clamped down on a tourist's head. Seeing this, Ellen quickly pulled out a stun baton and zapped the shark with a jolt of electricity. The powerful current instantly fried the shark, but their poor friend was already beyond saving. At the same time, news reports announced that a rare Sharknado had formed at the edge of the city, bringing countless sharks hurtling toward New York at incredible speed. Seeing the broadcast, Finn rushed toward Citi Field because Ellen's husband Martin and their son Vaughn were watching a baseball game there. When Finn arrived, he urged them to escape immediately. But no one took him seriously. It wasn't until the terrifying Sharknado appeared that people finally realized how bad things really were. The stadium erupted into chaos. Everyone scrambled in panic. A young girl froze in fear to protect her. A former baseball star grabbed a bat and smashed a flying shark 400 feet away with a single swing. Under Finn's lead, the crowd rushed into the subway station. Just when they thought they were safe, disaster struck again. No one expected sharks to come flooding in along with theater. One unlucky passenger couldn't dodge in time and became dinner for a shark. No one could believe they were now fighting sharks in the subway. Finn quickly called for everyone to run forward. To buy them some time, Finn took on a shark head. He grabbed a baseball bat and jammed it into the shark's massive jaws. After the crisis ended, Finn grew even more worried about Ellen and Maura's safety. Just as he was about to leave, someone pointed behind him. Finn turned around and saw a small shark clamped onto his side. Without hesitation, he yanked it off and tossed it aside. The group made it back to the surface and hopped into a taxi. By now, the city looked like a living hell. People were running for their lives in all directions. One moment a man was holding up a cardboard sign. The next moment he was shark food. Another man ignored others' warning and ran back to grab a fallen suitcase only to be crushed by the collapsing Statue of Liberty. Meanwhile, the news kept broadcasting weather updates, urging everyone to evacuate immediately. But Finn, desperate to find Ellen and Maura, told the group to gather any weapons they could find to fight the sharks. Finn headed to a pizza shop to ask an old friend for supplies. Just then, a shark crashed through the ceiling, but luckily his friend reacted quickly. Together, they took down the shark. The group armed themselves and regrouped, ready to head toward the top of the Empire State Building. As the ground gave way, the entire city was suddenly flooded by theater. Finn's taxi stalled with countless sharks swimming all around it. In a split-second decision, Finn climbed onto the roof of the taxi, used the sharks as stepping stones, and leapt to safety.